Today on Live with Lori, we're cooking shrimp and grits, and Lori asked the congressman about balancing the budget.
Hi, and welcome back to Live with Lori, where we serve up political food for thought. We're here today with Congressman Dave Weldon, and we're making shrimp and grits. We blistered these peppers. I took them out on break, and now I'm peeling them, and I'm going to get the congressman here to cut them up in little pieces.
I think I can handle that.
This is kind of neat. Unless you want to get slimy and
help you peel them?
Help them peel. That's
Sure.
up to you.
It's
kind of neat. It's well, while we're doing this, we left on break talking about, helping to balance the budget in 1998. What are some of the things that you're most proud of that you've done?
Well, I was in Congress for 14 years, and I worked on a lot of different things. One of the things I was most proud of was the work I did for the space program. We funded the space station and getting the space station launched and operational. But you mentioned balancing the budget. That was one of the things I was probably most proud of. It was very difficult. We had to shut the government down several times.
I remember that.
And we got a lot of criticism from a lot of people, but the budget did come to balance in 98, 99, and 2000, and we were actually able to pay down debt for 3 years. And I consider that one of the greatest accomplishments of my time in Congress.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they did that now, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, that, of course, is the hope, that we can turn things around and deal with all the red ink in Washington, D.C. I worked on a lot of other issues. We mentioned the vaccine safety issue. I also got involved with a lot of important projects in my congressional district, and I guess one of the things that I was proud of was I put some language into law protecting healthcare providers from being forced to participate in medical procedures they didn't want to participate in for ethical reasons. Those were called conscience clause protections, so I considered that.
So they couldn't get in trouble for being made to do something they didn't believe in.
Didn't believe in or didn't want to do. And so I thought that was an important thing.
That goes back to being a doctor.
Yeah.
That's
also, I got increased funding for autism research, which was another project that I worked on.
That's real important. I mean, we have such an. Do you think that we have more autism simply because it's better diagnosed, or do you think that there really is a higher incidence of autism?
Well, I think it's a combination of the two. I think it is better diagnosed, but I also think we do have much more of it than we had years ago.
Do you think it's environmental?
Well, if you say it's genetic, the rate shouldn't be increasing faster than the population is increasing.
Right.
So if it's not genetic, then it has to be, some sort of toxin, or it has to be some sort of infection or something in the environment. That's the only way you can explain it, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about some of the accomplishments that you're proud of. What is something that you didn't get accomplished? Something that you worked on that just didn't quite make it, that really kind of disappointed you?
Well, we still have a lot of programs in Washington that are financially insolvent, like Social Security and Medicare. We're asking, young people graduating from high school and college today to go out, work, get a job, and pay the Medicare tax and the Social Security tax, but they know that those programs are financially unsound and that they will not be there when they're there. So I wanted to reform those programs so that they would be there for people today, but also our children and our grandchildren tomorrow. And we were not able to do that, and that's still something that's very, very badly needed in Washington, D.C.
I'm smiling as you say that, not because I think it's funny, but I remember being in grade school, and we were talking about government and Social Security, and them telling us that, by the time we hit, the year 2010 to 2015, that, you would have only like 3 or 4 people working for every person collecting. Now, I don't know if that's the ratio now.
Well, that is part of the problem.
We have an aging population, and it's just, it's harder and harder to pay for these things. Okay, I'm going to have you add this shrimp.
Okay.
It's 1 pound of shrimp. We're just going to dump it right in.
Just dump it right in.
Dump it right in and stir it up. And then I'm going to add 3 ounces of goat cheese to these grits.
Oh, goat
And-
cheese. Sounds good. Does that just melt into the grits?
It does. So, you know, if you could balance the budget and help with the Social Security and Medicare, you know, do you think that would be enough to get us back to where we're going?
Well, you know, really, in my opinion, the government is too big, and you need to reform these programs, but I don't think we can sustain the government at the size that it is. And so you really have to start downsizing government if it's going to be there for people in the future. It's just too big. There are too many regulations. Is that a little white wine?
That's a little wine and a little butter.
A little wine and a little butter.
You can't go wrong with wine and
getting
butter.
better all the time. You know, there's a lot of problems in Washington, D.C. Everybody knows that. And I think we just need to really seriously try to tackle the problems and not play kick the can and pass it on to another generation.
It'd be nice if that would happen, wouldn't it?
Right.
Well, we've got to take a break, but we'll be right back. And when we come back, we're going to taste some of this yummy food, and we're going to ask Congressman Dave Weldon our signature question.
When we come back, Lori serves up a hot plate of shrimp and grits while putting the congressman on the hot seat with her signature question.